You are now tuned into Moses Squared podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you follow both me and Desmond on social media platforms, as well as subscribing to Moses Squared podcast on YouTube and following Moses Squared pod on Instagram. Enjoy the episode. What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Moses Squared podcast. I am your girl, Lauren, former Virginia women's basketball player, digital reporter, and I'm here with my big bro.
It's your boy Desmond Moses, former Green Bay Packer, Kansas City Chief, real estate investor, Tulane Green Waiver, Iowa Hawkeye, and brother to my beautiful sister, Lauren Moses, one of two. Big sis, Shay, what up?
You already know.
But
So I
today
hope
we
everyone's doing
what we
great.
talking about? Give them something, Lo. What we talking about today?
We're talking about hard truths as an athlete. You know, we as people, we as humans, we go through a lot of transitions as athletes. I think we have some unique transitions that we kind of have to, or not have to, but because athlete is a part of our identity. I think it holds some weight, I'd say. So some hard truths, you know, for me as a human outside of an athlete, I would say is routine. You know, setting schedule, setting goals, things like that. It's like sometimes you just want to be.
Yeah.
And it's hard if you're a responsible and adult. You can't just be.
Man, you hit it on the head, Lo. And I think people don't understand and realize how unsexy being an athlete is. You know,
Mhm.
the grind. You know, they see the sexy part. They see the games. They see the television exposure. They see the commercials, the money. But prior to all that, ahead of all that, you know, there's those dog days. Not only in middle school, high school, AAU trips, summer times, long road trips, flights, the sacrifice, the workouts that nobody sees.
Mhm.
Um, you know, the tutors that you have to get, the overtime you have to put in, the sacrifices socially you have to make. Being an athlete is difficult. You know, there's a reason why we pay these guys so much the way, you know, the way we do, and the reason why they're praised the way they do, because the sacrifice is next to none. You
Yeah.
know, it's really next to none. And then there's a new challenge once you become a professional, right? Like Biggie said, like Jay said, more money, more problems. Got to
Mhm.
choose carefully, you
Mhm.
know, because folks hate when you getting money like athletes, and that's a fact.
Mhm.
Whether that's your friends, whether that's your family, you have new family members coming out of the woodworks that you never met, and you know somehow supported this journey of yours, and you're indebted to. You know, you got people that have actually been there, and then you got new friends.
Yeah. And
You got
that's something
ladies,
I
and
was
them ladies. Don't forget the ladies. At Zion, don't forget the ladies.
that is another good point though, like sacrificing of even the time you spend with your family and your and
Yes,
those friends, right? Like I have friendships that I had before I became a very like a serious athlete, committed to, you know, obtaining my goals of playing for free in college and getting a
right.
free education, like that I don't have now, right? And like that's a sacrifice. Not to say that any one of us did anything wrong, but you know, think about professional athletes. I think about these MLB players who have road games that last 10 days. NFL, NBA, they are away from their families that they've created in this life. And so
Yeah,
that's certainly a sacrifice. But I think that leads me to our first point, which is success isn't for everyone, right? I think that's a
mm,
hard truth as an athlete when you do put in these hours, when you do sacrifice your time, your energy, your interest, even for a game, right? Like it's a game that we are doing all of this for. Obviously, we love it, but it comes to a point where you have to really look at yourself in the mirror and say, what does success look like for me?
mm,
Not what does success look like for my teammate, for my coach, for my trainer, for my mom. Like I think I would say that I would look out sometimes and say that, you know, success growing up as an athlete was to make my parents proud of what I was doing on the court.
mm.
Success in college looked like the wins column, making sure that I was doing my job to help my team be a winning team. And so I think your success is what success looks like to you can change, but it's important not to look east and west because that is where you can get, you know, some lines blurred because you know your judge your uh what is the word comparing. You get into
Yeah.
comparison.
Well, that's funny because when I went undrafted, that's one of the tips that Daddy gave me. One of the nuggets that I took with me. He said, "Don't compare, compete." And that just simply meant don't look around. Don't worry about how they treating the first round draft pick. Don't worry about how they you know focus on you. Get what you need to get and go out there and put that work in. And I think that's a huge part of success is,
Yeah.
like you said, keeping those things, keeping that core together for you, because there's going to be so many new distractions for these young men and women. Keeping your core together, those people that are really there to help you, and weeding out those people that are kind of just trying to come get their piece. And that's a hard decision to make for a lot of these young athletes, and um, figuring that part out, as well as figuring out the financials and who can I trust. And now, you got a whole new set of issues. Success is one it's a gift and a curse. We've seen it eat some people alive. That very same thing,
Yeah.
that very same pedestal that they'll put you up on, they'll elevate it and knock it right from under you.
Yeah.
So, for the guys like LeBron James and the guys that we talk so highly about, this is part of the reason. 20-year run, blemish free, damn near.
Yeah.
That's why we call him the GOAT. And that's why we got to look at guys like LeBron and give them their roses, because they've done something right. Not only that, he's raising an NBA prospect while he's having a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
And shout out to Savannah as well. She's obviously an incredible mother, wife, and a backbone to the GOAT. But it's not easy, Lo. It's
No.
not easy. We've seen it. I mean, we've seen guys. I've been to college with guys who were, 5-star recruits, and they left as felons. They left
Yeah.
college as felons. What a swing. So this is not something to be taken lightly. And I think for a lot of young athletes who aspire to be a professional athlete, who aspire to be in the limelight, one thing to always keep in mind is that same pedestal they'll put you up on, they'll quickly snatch it right from under you. So it is a responsibility. It's a responsibility that comes with it, and you got to live up to it day in and day out. And you don't live by the same rules.
Yeah.
Because if this was Joe Blow who came to pick his teammate up, and we're talking, from a last episode, but young kid Brandon Miller, if this was just some college kid, there wouldn't even be a story.
Yeah.
But if you are able to play and you get an opportunity to play a sport and do it at a really high level, you're gifted, and you come with your own set of rules. And you got to be solid, and you got to be sound in that decision making as you go through life. And success is a beautiful thing to have in this life, and with it comes responsibility. We got to live up to that. That's part of the job.
I think it's also important to live in your purpose. I think it's easier to be able to discern distractions. And obviously easier said than done to live in your purpose, right? Because a lot of us are like,
Yeah.
I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know if
Right.
me bouncing a
Talk
basketball
to
or
'em.
me throwing a football is my purpose. But I think when you're striving to understand what your purpose is,
Yeah.
you have a better understanding that, okay, is this going to bring me closer or further away from even getting to that end point, to even getting
Right.
to, okay, what does it look for me to have joy, peace, all of these things? And I think if it's not serving you in those ways, then it's usually a good indicator that it isn't going to help you or lead you to success.
Yeah. And if it doesn't align with your goals that you have written down,
And
you
values.
should know.
And values. I think
Yeah.
in sports, it gets clouded as well because one band, one sound type of thing. And it's like, if someone or something is actively going against your values, get out. You do not want to be compromised, right? I'd be watching these war and fighting shows and all these things, shooting shows. And it's like, you get compromised when you allow your emotions to get wrapped up in things that you, for one, said, I would never do, or I would never. And don't say you would never. That's another thing. I mean, I used to say, I would never do this. I would never eat something, and you end up doing it. And when you do that, you sometimes learn to not trust yourself or not trust your decisions. And again, that gets you further away from success as well. I think the most successful people who, we have looked up to or we have seen their rise, it's when they are firm in their foundation
100%.
and they're able to stand 10 toes down on things that they say and things that they do.
I eat a Mamba, and we love him. Rest
Yes.
in peace, Kobe. These are things you got to live by. It's a lifelong journey, but you're
Yeah.
100% right. And for me, my success always starts with writing it down. And then I put that time in with the prayer, talking to God. Does this align with, is this what you put on,
Yeah.
for me? Is this your plan as well? And then we get after it. We put that work in. But,
Yeah.
um, you know, that does matter. That does matter. Your beliefs and all of those things matter. And I think that's a great segue to our next topic, as far as beliefs and lack thereof, let's say, you know, because we're in a different time and age now where um sex is always sold, it always will sell, but now we're selling it ourselves. We're in a time of entrepreneurship where this is the first time where sex is being sold directly from the producers, the people.
Yeah.
We got OnlyFans, we got these sites, we got subscriptions on IG, on I'm sure some other sites.
Streaming services are putting soft porn basically these days on television.
Sex sells, we know it, but I feel like we're getting into an era low where the lines are being blurred to um, the right to do what you want and be who you are and all of those things and actually being a sex worker because I'm seeing it now more than ever. I'm like, yo, is this all that we do? Is this all that we to us?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems somewhat shallow, but the more and more, and I'm sure the industry is growing by the day because you can
Yeah.
simply do it from your home. But
And
talk
I
about
feel
it.
I'm indifferent about it sometimes
Okay.
because from the stance of female athletes, specifically from, the ones that I cover, the ones
Mm-hmm.
that I follow,
Mm-hmm.
um, I get the sense that it is in a rebellious spirit that
Mm-hmm.
they take part. Not to say that, they are doing this because of anything specific, but I could see it being in a rebellious spirit in this sense where guys over sexualize women every day
Mm-hmm.
on the internet, in comments and DMs. And it's vice versa, but just from the female athlete's perspective, I get a lot of, DMs of unwanted things, I should say.
Sure.
And to capitalize off of it, they go the route of OnlyFans or they go the only route of subscriptions on their, X-rated Instagrams and all of these things. And so I wonder if it's out of rebellion, out of, hey, if you guys are going to keep talking about it, I'm going to go get some money off of it because
Mm-hmm.
you think about some of these reality TV stars or these media personalities, like they have one-liners on t-shirts these days. Like they are selling the clicks that they
Mm-hmm.
get. They're
Mm-hmm.
selling the views that they're attracting on social media. And so it's leading to a whole nother business. And it's hard to not,
All
but it's also not my life. So
right. Here's my take. I'm all about capitalizing. I'm an investor trust. I'm about capitalizing. There's a fine line though. All money is not good money. And some money comes uh, uh, with a little bit of stain, let's say, because for some of these young ladies, and whether athletes or not, there's women in regular walks of life who are professionals. Some who this is their profession. With anything, there comes some consequences, some things that come with it, baggage, and I think it's something that they may have to live with in the future. And I want to say this very delicately because everybody has the right to make their own choices and do what they want with their own body. Um, but for their kids who will be future adults and just even for their own personal, I don't know the religious stance, depending on some of those things we know are wrong,
yeah,
and no amount of dollars will make it right. And maybe I'm old school in that sense because I like my women, love them beautiful, love them to look sexy. But I grew up on a Nia Long era where women could put clothes on and we could still admire their beauty. It wasn't about being naked. It wasn't about showing the world your most prized possessions or capitalizing because it's there. you know. Um, it was more about self-respect, and I think that simple term goes so far, but it's so simple, respecting oneself, and it's hard. Nowadays, I can say even as a man, for some of these women, it's like, damn, you want me to respect you more than you respect yourself? Or, you know,
Yeah, it's like J. Cole said, "Can't love you if you don't love yourself."
how does
But
that work?
I also think that it's important for us as well to talk
Mhm.
about the men's side of it
Right.
because I think we might not necessarily be seeing naked men all over, Instagram, but you think about these trainers, right? Like these trainers are
Oh, yeah.
wearing certain shorts. These
Oh,
trainers
yeah.
are
Oh,
working
oh,
without
oh,
shirts.
they own it. They
We're
own it.
we're
They
talking
own it.
about like these men who are they have their massage businesses and they are
Those ain't
doing
massages.
massaging
Those is
here
not massages,
in
okay?
weird positions, right? Like, I think it's also important to even talk about the language that men use on social media,
Mhm.
and like women to women, men to men about just sexual things. Like,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I guess I view it as something that's private and intimate. And so I don't understand why people are so free because you talk about it, your children, your
Yeah.
future children. I'm talking about people whose names are worth money, who
Mhm.
are bashing the mother of their child on social media, whose mother of the child is bashing the baby father. It's just
Mhm.
like y'all children are grown, and a lot of people can talk about Kim K and Kanye West all they want about their own lives, but something that I have not been able to see in if and I know a lot of black women who bash Kanye West, but I've never seen Kim Kardashian go on social media and call this
Mm.
man out of his name crazy
Mhm.
as he has done to her.
Mm.
I don't know
Mm.
what happens behind closed doors, but I do know that she's a mother of your however many children. I
Mhm.
don't know what Kanye West says behind doors, but I know that he's the father of her children, and her children
Mhm.
are of age to be able to go on social media and read what it is that their parent is saying about the other.
Yeah, and it takes restraint sometimes because Lord knows I can contest. It takes it takes restraint, Lord, but I know He can do it.
Yeah,
I know He will.
Won't he
But you're
will.
right though. It's a respect thing for yourself and others, and in
Hmm.
that instance, for your children.
Yeah.
For your children because they're people.
Yeah, I
They
just
have
think when children are in it, I think it's kind of like, I
yeah,
mean, I don't have children, but I've been in near situations. I've
yeah,
um, have between you being a parent, friends who are parents, and even my friends' parents
mhm,
to understand what that does to children, how confused it can make children, how it
yeah,
can lead them to falling into areas of their life that you as a parent might not want. And so it's just like think about the kids,
yeah.
and
Think about the
especially you think
kids.
about the bodies, your body being on the internet as well. It's
Oh,
I
you
don't
said
know.
bodies. I thought you was talking about the bodies. You think about the bodies too. Y'all catching bodies in the room next to your kids. Never mind.
Yeah, it's just
Let,
weird.
let her tell it. Let her
Some people walk around the house naked when their kids is grown. So that's neither here nor there. But talking about self-love and self-respect, I also think as an athlete and not, body image has been something that there was always an emphasis on. You can look at
for sure.
magazines, you now look on social media. Think about the people who are going to the Miamis, Dominican Republics to get their bodies done. I
Mhm.
think our just like success looks different to everyone. I think
Yeah.
your body goals, like that's different for everyone. And I think society makes us
Mm.
conform to think it's one specific look,
Yeah.
and it's causing people to lose their lives. It's causing people to lose their minds. It's causing people to um, isolate themselves because they don't feel like it is enough. They are enough what they're doing to get us nice figure or whatever
Oh,
you
that's
have
and
they
that's
just
a
don't
great
seem
point.
enough these days.
And that's a great point because society has a lot of control over what we view as attractive, what we view as sexy, what we view as, all of these different things. And it's funny, even over time, how that image has changed,
Hmm.
from the
Just from
Marilyn.
culture to culture too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because how it went from, the Marilyn Monroe, blonde, blue eyes, to now it's voluptuous to, you know,
But
uh,
even it went away from Marilyn Monroe. I'm
mhm,
thinking of Paris Hilton and her small petite figure
yeah,
and how everyone wanted to be like that. And now we have plump lips and plump butts and like
it's plump. Everybody
just
plumping everything
plump.
up. Like you go to the club, everybody's lips done, butts done,
And I think about
waist
the
set.
people, I think about, people who, they are getting these touch-ups of like injections even to like
Mhm.
keep this look. And
Yeah.
it's like, what is it? And but it goes back to what society
What
has
is it? Oh, you want to know what it
manufactured.
is? You want to know what it is? It's our natural look right now. Black is in.
Well, black is culture. Black is the culture.
Black
It's always,
is in. What do
yeah.
you mean? The pump lips, the pump. This is, you know, this is what's in right now. But for each individual, it still comes down to self-love. And I think this is, somewhat a segue from the last topic. Sex selling. I don't even know if it's sex they're selling. I think they're trying to buy confidence with
Mm,
these likes, with these stats, with these because society has beat them down so much to the point where people are like, "Yo, I'm so uh, insecure. Maybe if I put it on the internet and other people approve it, I'll feel." And I think it's more of that because when I see these videos and I'm analyzing some of these women and men, it's not confidence I see. They're naked and it's pain in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
like get out.
yeah, like it's like you want me, don't you? Like, it's not in a healthy space, So that's something to even pay attention to too, low. The image and then how it affects the behavior because I think one leads to the other. They're not really flaunting it because they're super confident.
Yeah.
It's quite the opposite. They're trying to build that confidence falsely based on the approval of others,
Yeah.
i.e., society.
And I want to also encourage people to like on social media, I talk to family members. They're like, every trainer on social media is telling me to do something different.
Yeah.
And it's like they want you to stay in a confused state so
You're
that you
right.
continue to search their name, that you continue to search for whatever they're doing, so that
Mhm.
you can continue to put dollars in their pocket or views in their confidence bucket, right? Like
Right,
they
right,
want you to continue to fill that up and to continue being in a confused state. Like I really encourage y'all to go to a doctor. Like
right.
if you really feel like I know a lot of women these days are talking about PCOS, which leads to extra hair growth and not being able to lose weight or not being able to gain weight or just mood swings, all these things. Like females, I don't think we talk about it enough, but hormonal tests. I just did my
Mhm.
first hormonal test to figure out what it is and what states of our cycle we need to be working out, the best time to work out, the best time to rest yourselves, because I don't think that gets talked about enough. We're
Mhm.
always what's next, the go go go.
Yeah,
um
recovery.
yeah, recovery. Get in a healthy space, which I would say take up a doctor, not a self-proclaimed nutritionist or personal trainer on social media that's telling you to do exercises that don't go with your body type.
Right.
Like, um, I don't know. I think social media is fake, y'all. I'm just,
Yeah.
it's
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 not
not
real.
it's
And
not the
and then
real
this is
perception
the
of these
last piece.
people.
Last piece, Law, I wanna add in there because I think you made a great piece for those folks working out or maybe starting to work out. Um, it takes work. It takes work, y'all. You got to commit to it, and it takes time. I know a lot of people like yourself. Do this, do this, do. Well, you didn't do any of it. You just watched them. You know, you got to do and then commit to it because anything that's worth anything, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's a grind, and it comes with some repetition, and that's
Yes.
including workout. People get discouraged, the weekend they feel sore, or a new job. You get in there, you get a little few reps, and then you're like, I'm supposed to be, well, I should be successful by now. I didn't put in more, put in
Yeah.
more. You're owed nothing. You got to put in that work. The results will show.
Yeah.
The results will show.
And I think it's important that, like you said, the time, it's going
Yeah.
to take time. Um, and to be patient, right? Like I feel like when people first get in the gym, they make their goal to be in the gym 5 days a week.
Yeah.
That's not
You can't do
realistic.
it. You can't do
Realistic
it.
goals are important because a lot of times I talk to a lot of young women and we try to accomplish everything at once, all our goals in one day, in a 1 week, 1 month, and then you end up doing nothing because you're
Yeah.
overwhelmed. So just be
It's
realistic with
ridiculous.
yourself.
Lo, and before we go, I want you to give our viewers, give them one tidbit, give them something to take with this week for them to have a successful week, whether it's related to body image, whether it's related to, staying committed to a task or a challenge, or is it writing down your goals in order to be successful.
Yeah.
What is something that our viewers can take with them this week and just get their week off to a strong start?
Um, I think that, I mean, like I've been working as a life coach actually, have my own life coaching business, and
All right, coach.
I've been talking a lot about writing down and figuring out what it is that you like about yourself.
Mm,
I find that in conversations, just random conversations, even in dating, like when I ask people that question, it's really hard for them to say something that they like about themselves. And we talk a lot about on this episode of self love and self respect. And I think it's important to honor yourself, whether you're single or in a relationship,
mm,
because I mean, in a relationship, you're two people together. If one person isn't whole in their own, you guys come together, it's not going to be good. If you are not whole in yourself, it's really going to be really hard for you to even work with people,
yeah.
nonetheless. And so I
That's
think
why we
finding
have
out,
toxic relationships. Whole bunch of broken folk with broken folk making broken
yeah,
folk, and we walk around out here broke as hell.
broken. Facts. So I would encourage you to just take some time with yourself and figure out what it is that you like about yourself. And
Yeah,
back to that purpose point, y'all. If you're not striving towards your purpose, then you're running backwards
yeah,
real fast. So yeah.
yeah. And mine is this word's been popping up a lot lately. My daughter's favorite song right now, written and sang by yours truly, is wait. Be patient. Patience.
Yeah.
Wait. You gotta be able to be patient and trust God for a a period of time, even when there's no evidence, even when there's not an inkling. That's what faith is.
That's faith, y'all.
Once the evidence is there, that's proof.
Yeah.
You gotta believe. You gotta believe, and then you gotta grind. That's my
Facts.
story. That's my message to y'all. Love. Appreciate y'all tuning in, checking us out this week. Check us out next week. It's your boy Desmond Moses with my sister.
Lauren Moses, you already know. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week.